Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Annalena. I'm Lucy's best friend and I'm really happy to be part in her podcast.
Me too.
So she's going to tell us about her personal story. A story I think so many international students can relate to in one way or another. So yeah, maybe we start from the beginning. So Lucy, who are you and what brought you here today?
Hi, Annalena. I also want to thank you for being part of my podcast. Also, hi, everyone. And as you said, I'm Lucy, and I originally come from Albania. I've moved in Germany, or I've been living in Germany since October 2019. So it's been a while now. And I originally wanted to move to Germany for my studies. But I first came here through the au pair program to somehow get a better touch or a better idea about the everyday life, the language, since I wanted to study in German, and everything else what I could.
Yeah, now 6 years later, you're sitting here with me, your German university bestie.
Yes.
And Teddy. I think you called him Teddy, right?
Yeah, he's been here with me also since the beginning.
Okay, 6 years. He's 6 years old. And so what's this podcast about then? What do you plan to
So
talk about?
this podcast is part of my Instagram channel, Lucy's Diary, which is mainly to create a corner or to create a space for everyone who may or who can feel safe and comfortable and have or even connected, why not, to have a space to get also inspired or whatever by sharing different stories of their lives as being international students in Germany mainly. And in this podcast is also gonna be one of these versions of life stories, because each of us has a different version to tell. So in this podcast is gonna be my version of the story of how me, 18 years old, packed all my life in 2 suitcases and moved to Germany. And I've been here since then, and from learning the basic things to being able to feel kind of home and being able to call it home in this place.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have to talk. I'm sure you have to talk a lot about. So it's a big
A lot
decision.
happens in 6 years.
It's a big step to come to a different country. So maybe tell us what made you want to turn all of that into a podcast then?
So first of all, my idea is not to make this as a how-to guide, but mostly as a way to or just to tell the people that, or to share my story by also telling that not everything is perfect, and there are ups and downs in everybody's life, and being an international student doesn't mean you're visiting new places and you're sharing new stories and you're creating new amazing moments, which also is part of that, definitely. But there are a lot of ups and downs, and without the downs we wouldn't really feel and understand the ups and really appreciate them. So by sharing all of this in this podcast is also how to connect with the people, or to tell them also that it can be difficult, or it is the way it is, but it's also fine, and at some way, in one way or another, it maybe works out, and that we all find a way, even though it is not the same way that we all have, because everybody is given different challenges. So, and the reason why I chose this podcast is because I moved here alone by myself, without knowing other people that could help me or give me a little hint of how things work out in Germany, and things where your family cannot help you because they also don't know how it works in Germany. So they can give you an idea, but it's always different being in another country and being there by yourself than telling about it. So I had to figure out most of the things, or almost everything, by myself, or later then also getting ideas from other people. But by figuring out things by yourself, I don't know, I loved sharing useful things with people that I thought it needed to and could profit from it, so, or also could be a useful information. And this podcast, I thought it's a good way to also share, while sharing my life story, also share maybe kind of tips or information that someone also experienced it by themselves. So yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, I really like this idea. That's not only this, like you said, kind of tutorial, more like a, yeah, you are not alone podcast. So maybe
Exactly.
some other international students feeling understood and see that they are not alone, and maybe getting encouraged to do something like that. So yeah, and probably as when you remember your time as 18-year-old self, would you say you have, or you have, would like to have someone like you or something like this podcast to listen about and to see that you are not alone? Would you say that's true?
I would say I would have heard that because, you know, everything in the beginning is helpful, and as a new person or a new student or a new everything, when you're moving to a country, you're researching all the time. So why not have something where is somehow putting all of this together and helping you with that? So yeah, I would have loved to have someone that would guide me through it. And the only way that I wouldn't have wanted it is someone to tell me exactly what to be doing, because of course we all have our choices and our different visions of how we want to create our lives. So that's definitely not what I want to do, to tell people what they have to do or what they do not have to do or shouldn't do. But as said, to say a version and everyone can see by themselves, oh no, I don't want it the way she did it and she wants it like that, but I do not. So yeah, that's basically it, that it's about sharing the story and hopefully being able to help people also connect with each other. So by sharing all of these stories, yes.
But maybe as a little tip for yourself and also for others, what would you say to your, when you could talk to your 18-year-old self? Because I was speaking of it.
I wished.
Yeah, probably. But do you know what you would give her as a tip, or what would you tell her?
I would love her to tell very much things, very many, but I think one important thing that I would tell myself 6 years ago would be that everything will work out, although things take different turns that you expect. And also being 18 years old, also a woman in a new country, it has also different challenges or different worries. And I would tell her to protect herself no matter what, with whatever direction that it could be, because that's very important. And each of us should learn that at some point you also have to put yourself first, about caring about yourself, because when you're not well and when you're not safe, then nothing else is gonna work out. So yeah,
I mean, especially you have been only, or you were really young, so probably there was a lot of what scared you, I think. So maybe you also remember some points that scared you that in the end didn't come true, or did come true.
I can remember very well the first day where I was flying. I mean, I had many scares about different things, because of course it's like you're taking a step where you don't know if it's gonna work out or if it's not gonna work out. As said, I was coming as an au pair with the idea to study after that, so I didn't know if everything's gonna work out. But one of the scares was, okay, the first day, am I gonna find the family even where I'm going as an au pair? Because I had seen them only once in a video call and I had seen pictures of them, so I had literally, I was so scared I'm not going to find them and I'm going to wander in this airport without finding them. So that was a big scare. But apart that, a constant scare for like in the beginning was the language, because of course I didn't know German as well as I know now. And I was like, okay, what if, I was going to work with kids? So what if I'm not going to understand them, and kids maybe sometimes don't say the words right, and it's even more difficult for me, and I'm going to be living with them 24/7 with the whole family. So oh yeah, that was of course a big scare if I'm going to find out everything the way that I need them to find without knowing the language that well. And I think that's also a big thing for every other student as well. And I knew a bit English as well, but it was also not that perfect. So I would say I was not like super confident in both languages, that I'd say, yeah, okay, I can find out everything with the knowledge that I have. I of course trusted myself that I'll make it, but I was scared.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And now you are here and talking in English, one of your biggest
Yeah, I would say
insecurities.
I can speak very good. Yes.
Yeah, I can, and German too.
Yeah.
But we don't hear it until now. So, but yeah, when you first arrived here, did you had anything? What was there anything that surprised you in the first month, or something you really not expected?
I would say the way that the life is maybe in different place, like in the neighborhood, for example, it's so way more quiet in Germany, or especially when it's not a huge city. Because right now we're living in Munich, and that's a huge difference. But back then I was living nearby Köln, or between Köln and Bonn, and it was like super quiet. And in Albania, that's way different. Like there's loud everywhere, outside in the streets, there's people everywhere, and that was something different. It didn't really scare me, but it was like this feeling, this smell, this, it was way different. And yeah.
So sound.
That was the first thing. Yeah, that was like a first thing that you catch that is like super different, I would say.
Okay, interesting to hear. Yeah. Because as a German, probably you're getting used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably it's different in some countries, especially if here's winter time.
Yeah, especially that, yes.
Yeah, but about your experiences, we going to talk about more in the next episodes. I'm really looking forward to those. So maybe tell the listener, or what can you tell the listeners to expect from the next episodes? Do we have something you can maybe spoil us a bit?
Sure. I mean, in 6 years a lot happens, and my idea is to share as many details I can remember, or as I can, also with the time. And I don't want it to be too boring for anyone, but I'll try to get to the stages of my life, of how I started, how I decided even to come to Germany, and how I decided to come through the au pair program. I'll talk about the time when I was au pair, and the time when I started studying, and language difficulties or financial difficulties, or feeling lonely or not feeling lonely, making friends, finding jobs, and balancing between studying and working in the same time, because you have to have the finances, and yeah, everything, or even actual stories that I can remember from the time where everything happened. And so I would bring closer an example, for example, and so on. Yeah, an example, for example.
Happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as an sorry, my voice is getting cracked. But yeah, so it's just information you wanted to share, but I mean, you need a reason for that, or I think you have a reason for sharing that. So why do you think is it so important to share it with other people?
I think that not only my story, but everybody's story is important to share, because I think stories are the ones that connect us. They connect us with people for feeling not too different, or for feeling not alone, and for, by sharing my stories, you will share your stories, and we get to know each other, and we get to like each other, and we find if you are a person that understands my stories, I feel understood, and I feel comfortable, and I feel that I have someone in my life understands me and understands how the way of my life works and everything. So that's how we become friends, for example, and that's how people out there can become less lonely. And if I share the story the way that I'm sharing it for everybody else with my family, I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't understand it the same way that another student understands it, that is probably having something similar to that is happening in my life or that happened in my life. Because hearing it and not having experienced something similar, it's different than having experienced something different. Or even the fact of being a student is, or even students that are not doing something abroad, they will understand this or the version of every life story better than, for example, if my family or my parents didn't study and they are especially not studying in this current time where different things come up. So students from this time will understand or each other better than students that have been in a past time or in a future time. So that's why I think that we understand each other or feel connected to each other more by sharing our stories. And yeah, as said, feeling understood is a great feeling. So I think that happens when we share the stories with each other.
Yeah, I really like this idea of connection, and I think social media, where you post your podcast, is a really good place for that.
Yeah,
especially in that age. So.
And it's also important to understand that even though we have these difficulties, and you hear it from each other that everyone has difficulties, but it's okay because we actually are growing and we actually have growth in our life, although we don't exactly see it. But if we stop for a minute and we see where we have gotten, and we're like, damn, I have actually done a lot and I've grown, although it was not always as I thought, or it didn't happen the moment that I thought, but I have grown in different ways and not only in one way for if it would be a career or personal, everything happens at the same time.
Yeah, and I'm really curious how you will tell us how I will hear how much you have grown in the sorry. Sometimes I'm a bit lost. But I'm really curious about the next episodes where you tell us how much you have grown and we hear the whole story. So yeah, this episode was basically the beginning, the first page of your diary.
Exactly.
Where we get to know Lucy.
Yes, and it's gonna be like a diary, hopefully.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then
I hope that this will become a cozy corner, not only for us to drink tea or coffee, but also for everyone listening to this and getting to have a cozy corner by themselves, having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever else they might like.
Yeah.
And enjoying the time.
Clean.
Cheers.
And Shadi is going to
the next episode.
To the next one.